welcome to Orion. What are we doing?
Orion Today.
Orion Today. Man, off to a great start. I was looking up at the TV monitor there. I'm Joe Johnson, and once again, I'm joined by Emma Schwartz. Thanks for joining us once again on the set.
Thank you again for having me.
So how's your summer going? How are things going so far?
My summer's going great. Sunday, I actually went to Canada and I saw my family for the first time since Easter, so it was great being able to see them. I just been working constantly at Opa's and then babysitting every Thursday nights and then fitting in time my schedule to hang out with friends. So it's been going great so far. Mostly been keeping myself busy though. How about you?
Well, let me ask you this: what's fun to do in Canada? What did you squeeze in while you were up there?
Again, I was just seeing family, but I guess like one of the things I look forward to is like getting like these snacks from my grandparents. Like they make these special Canadian like chocolates. They're called Mr. Big Bars. They also have like these coffee crisps, and then they also make like ketchup chips and all dress. So that's probably one of my favorite things about going there is always getting those treats.
That's worth going.
Yeah.
Is it? You know, I haven't been up to Canada in years. Is it complicated getting across the border? What do you need to do to get across the border to Canada nowadays?
Basically the same thing. You need to have like a passport, make sure it's like updated like after like a certain point, like on there be like, oh, update after like blank years. And then I will say coming back home, we were stuck on the bridge for 2 hours, going across like from Port Huron. Just the bridge was so backed up, one lane, and then all the trucks were lined up. It was pretty bad. So like it's always hit or miss. Like you have your days where the border is not so busy, and then you have your days where it is, and then it could take hours just to get home.
So does the real ID work if you're trying to get into the border, or do you need to show your actual passport?
I believe you have to have a passport.
Okay, wow. Yeah, like I said, it's been a long time, and I think the last time I went to Canada, some friends of mine were getting married, and the ceremony was here in Michigan, but the reception was in Canada. And this was before 9/11, but it was such a pain to get into Canada and back. And I remember, I think when I was coming back, they asked me a few questions and they said, oh, you can go. And I'm like, oh, thank you. And as I start to move forward, they go, hold it. You've been randomly selected for an inspection or something. I had to pull over. They searched my car. I'm like, why would you have a reception in Canada? It was just so complicated getting there and back.
I've had that happen before. It was like late at night one time and we got pulled over and it took a while for them to like check the car. It's never fun at all.
Yeah, I was afraid they were going to disassemble my car and then say, all right, you put it back together, or something like that. So yeah, that was tough. As far as my summer, I've just been busy moving. I moved at the end of May, beginning of June, and I'm still unpacking. Still got stuff in boxes that I'm unpacking. I've been having furniture delivered to my new place, and when you order on Amazon, obviously all that stuff arrives in boxes, and I have to assemble all that stuff, and it takes hours. And I've been joking that I'm officially Amish because I've been building so much furniture over the past couple of weeks. But it's getting there. Everything's kind of falling into place and starting to feel like home. So, yeah. Saturday, I managed to get out and see Superman. Do you have any interest in seeing Superman?
Not really. Maybe for the popcorn bucket, though.
Yeah, they got some pretty cool popcorn buckets. I saw one. It was like a Daily Planet newspaper vending machine, and there was like a fake copy of the newspaper with Superman on the cover, and I'm like, what is that? That's cool. And it turned out it was a popcorn bucket. That was kind of neat.
I saw the dog one. Like that was the one I was interested in.
Yeah. Do you have any popcorn buckets? Have you been collecting them?
No, I might have had some when I was younger, but as of right now, no. But maybe I'll start collecting them again.
That's the big thing now is like every major movie that comes out over the past year or so has a variety of popcorn buckets to choose from, and some of them are pretty high-end and fancy. And I got my very first popcorn bucket just a couple weeks ago. I went to go see the new Jurassic Park movie, which I hated, by the way. But they had this really cool red and black Jurassic Park popcorn bucket with like silhouettes of dinosaurs on all sides. And I'm like, I'll take one of those, please. So that was my first popcorn bucket. But there's been some really cool stuff. Jaws is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year, so I've seen some cool Jaws popcorn buckets.
I
So
have too.
that would be kind of a neat collection to have all these different popcorn buckets on a shelf. Yeah, yeah. So, all right. What else is going on? I'm trying to think. I just recently finished my Jimmy Hoffa video that I've been putting
I
together.
saw that.
Did you watch it?
I was
So,
going to, but
yeah.
I am going to soon.
Yeah, it was 6 months in the making. It took a long, long time to gather interviews and information and doing research. And the anniversary of the 50th anniversary of Jimmy Hoffa's disappearance is in about 2 weeks. It's July 30th. And I wanted to make sure I had it done and out there before the anniversary. And so I finished it on Friday night. I stayed late Friday night to finish it, uploaded it to YouTube, shared it on social media. It's closing in on 1,000 views since Friday. And I'm really hoping it takes off. I'm hoping a lot of people see it. I've gotten a lot of compliments on it. So on the next episode of Orion Today, we're going to kind of focus on that Jimmy Hoffa anniversary. So we'll be talking more about that on the next episode.
That'll be exciting.
Yeah. Now, one thing that happened this past weekend is the library does an event called Fandom Fest. And it originally started out in May to coincide with the May the 4th Be With You stuff. So originally it was kind of Star Wars based, and then it just became pop culture based. And this year they moved it to July, and so that happened this past Saturday, and we sent out our intern Lyndon Potter to go out and cover it. And in addition to that, what you're going to see in this video clip coming up is they also had a big grand opening ceremony for Mystic Cove, which is the new apartment complex on Lake Orion, and that was a really big deal. And it's not without controversy. People don't like change, and so those developments along the lake, they're really changing the landscape of the shore of Lake Orion that runs along M24. Personally, I think it's stunning, and I wish I could live in one of those apartments because you have a beautiful view of the lake and the sunsets, and it's a really beautiful setting. And there are docks for residents. If they own a boat, they can park a boat on a dock. So coming up in this video, we have the Mystic Cove ribbon cutting ceremony and Fandom Fest from this past weekend. Let's take a look.
And 1, and 2, and 3.
The force was strong this past weekend at the Orion Public Library as young Padawans gathered for the Fandom Fest.
4.
The library has had the Fandom Fest yearly, with it originally being held on May the 4th to commemorate Star Wars. Now more fandoms are celebrated with activities, such as Paper Mario airplanes, button pressing, and coloring Pokemon. However, the special event was the Jedi Training Academy, a time where kids could trade in their library cards for lightsabers and travel to a galaxy far, far away.
For me, it's really just spreading the love for all this pop culture, for Star Wars especially, but also a love for just communication, for partnership, working collaboratively with each other in a way that is non-combative, as much as like the combat, right, in the sequences seem combative. Really, it's about listening and collaborating with their partner. And that creates such incredible empathy and listening skills that's so important at such a young age. So bring that as an art form, as a theater art form as well. And again, spreading the love for this culture that people are interested in watching movies, of reading books more, and just general, right, knowledge gaining.
The Jedi Training Academy taught younglings how to swing a lightsaber, but also how to listen, cooperate, and work together. To see what other events are going on at the library this summer, visit www.orionlibrary.org. Lyndon Potter, ONTV News.
On Thursday, June 26th, the Lake Orion community was invited to come to the brand new Mystic Cove luxury lakefront apartments on M24 to celebrate their official grand opening.
1, 2, 3.
It's honestly an honor to be here today. We had beautiful weather. We were expecting it to be a lot worse than what it is, and we had a great turnout. It means a lot to me, my family, my grandmother, our matriarch of the family. It's a beautiful day to celebrate our event in our community and to be here.
Built by Mosheri, the new complex offers 36 units on the shore of Lake Orion including townhomes and ranch-style apartments with private boat slips and lakefront patios.
This is a great day for us, now being really intricate into the community, fully invested in, not just emotionally, because our families all vacation here just from down the road in Rochester. We always played on the lake and enjoyed the village. So now we actually become part of that and expanding, cleaning up the blight that was in the area. It's been redeveloped for over 150 years. I think it's coming on 200 years since they came from New York and started settling here, making it a vacation spot. They had a hotel on the island. They had a mailman that delivered mail by boat. This was a beautiful vacation spot. This is the up north to many, and it still is. So come on up from Ohio and come make this your home. Come up from all the surrounding areas. We have a place to make it your home. We have 4 lease products. We will have for sale products on the lake. So come on, see what we have. Try before you buy. This is the time of your life. It's time to really enjoy it and be part of this thriving community.
Mystic Cove exists within the borders of the village of Lake Orion, with the downtown area just minutes away. Council President Teresa Rutt talked about the impact the development has on the village.
A lot of economic vitality, a lot of economic growth. When you think about what was here before, this is stunning. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's adding families to our community that will become parts of our community. They'll be volunteers, they'll be involved, they'll be patrons of our downtown businesses, and so this development is just, it's a welcome addition to our community.
With the completion of Mystic Cove, Mosheri now focuses on the ongoing development of Constellation Bay just to the north, and then the Starboard located at the former site of the Orion Marina. For more information, visit mosheri.com. In Lake Orion, this is Joe Johnson reporting for ONTV News. So there you go. Like you said, lots of development taking place in the Orion area, lots of growth. One of the things I asked with the construction of Mystic Cove is there's only one elementary school in the village, and I'm like, well, if these are families with kids, how's that going to impact Blank Sims Elementary in the village? And they said apparently any new students are going to come out to Orion Oaks, which is right next to us. So I guess Blank Sims is pretty much at capacity, even though it's a relatively new school. They just built the new one. So we'll see what kind of impact it has on the village. But yeah, lots of change, and just got to go with it, right?
Correct.
So joining us now is Ashley Ross from Guest House. How long have you been with Guest House?
Oh, that's a loaded question. So I technically have only been there for 3 months. So
wow.
Definitely they sent their senior person over here. But it's actually, I'm returning. So I worked at Guest House in 2007 to 2009. So I found my way back just a few short months ago. So I'm very happy to be there.
Guest House is pretty much our neighbor to the south on Joslyn Road, and what a beautiful piece of property with the Scripps Mansion on the property. Talk about that property, that building, and getting access to that and exploring it.
Oh, well, absolutely. So it's part of what makes the property so special. So in all honesty, the house was built in 1927. It is, comparable to Meadowbrook, to Cranbrook. Scripps's sister was a Booth family, so lived at Cranbrook. So using the same architect, going through that same process. So the house itself, the mansion, is stunning. In terms of the historic property, when they purchased the property at that time, it was around 300 acres. They grew it to over 6,000 acres. So where we are today used to be a part of that property. Today we're 105 acres. So lots of legacy still on property, but also lots of beautiful things happening around. From this site, Canterbury Village, so the old homes over there used to be the farm workers' houses. So we're very lucky to have a space that is still historic, but modern and really integrated into the community.
Yeah. Have you ever been on the property or at the Scripps Mansion?
No, I've always wanted to go there, and
Yeah.
I've always wondered what it looks like. So maybe one day we'll see. Same with like the guest house. Like I've never actually been there before.
Yeah. So you might have an opportunity because there's an event coming up that kind of welcomes people onto the grounds. Talk about the 5K that's coming up.
Absolutely. So there are very few opportunities that we're able to really welcome people on site. While we are very welcoming, we are a treatment center for men and women of the Catholic religion, Catholic clergy. And so we try to keep it a little bit closed down so that we can respect our clients' privacy. However, we do a lot of fundraising opportunities, and one of those is our upcoming 5K, which is August 2nd. It's at 8:30 in the morning, and so the run is on property at Guest House, so you'll be able to drive in, see the mansion. You're going to run through some of the property. The run will also take place on parts of the Pollyant Trail, and then we'll finish on site right in front of the mansion, so you'll be able to get some of that sneak peek. If you're wondering what's behind the gates, that's where we'll be. We're going to do a different path this year, so if you've participated before, come back. You'll be able to see some hopefully different things. But also, if you haven't been, it's a really great opportunity for us to showcase the mansion, to showcase our historic grounds, and for somebody to participate in a really great cause to help our clients. We provide over $1.5 million of uncompensated care each year. So fundraisers like this really go directly to the mission of what Guest House is.
And elaborate on that. I've been to Guest House. I've been on the property, and I shot video of a sort of a conference that you had there, and it was really eye-opening because I don't think people in this community fully understand what's happening on those grounds. And when you think addiction, you think alcohol or drugs or whatever, but it's far more complicated than that. Talk about
Absolutely.
the clients that stay there and the forms of addiction that Guest House treats.
Yeah, so I always find it interesting. So I'm from Orion, I've been here a long time, and I have to say, I also wondered what happens behind the gates, right? Until I actually started working there. Guest House has been here, next year is our 70th year.
Yeah.
So we are a long-time pillar within the community. So what happened? So in 1956, when this kind of was all founded, it was at the time built for priests who were struggling with alcoholism. And if you look at the disorder of addiction, for example, a lot of times who do you turn to when you're struggling? You turn to your pastor, you turn to your priest. And so it was found to be that traditional treatment wasn't going to work for priests, because even if you went to an anonymous meeting, as soon as somebody finds out that you're a priest, they might be asking you for help. And when you're there for help yourself. So our founder, Austin Ripley, figured out that, hey, this is a need. First and foremost, priests, nuns, seminarians, we're all just humans, right? We're people first, and we struggle with people problems, no matter, how we've devoted our life or not. And so when we opened, that was the initial, hey, we're going to treat priests with alcoholism, and it's expanded to cover all addictions, process disorders, so gambling, binge eating. So we're able to treat everybody on site. Again, we do keep it private because it is a treatment center, but it's something that's filling a mission. We're the first of our kind and the most successful. We have a really great success rate, and I always like to think, hey, people might not always think about it, but pretty much every Catholic or every community has been impacted by Guest House. We've been doing this for 70 years. When you do the math, millions of people have interacted with somebody from Guest House at some point. There's been a really large impact, and to continue the mission and to continue moving it forward because it's still a need.
Describe someone who takes advantage of the services that you offer there. Describe what their experience might be like. Now, I understand that there are rooms in the mansion that people can stay in, but is there newer construction on the grounds that act almost like dormitories? Like, talk about the experience of someone who stays at Guest House.
Absolutely.
And how long would they be there?
That's a really great question. So it varies, depending on what folks are dealing with. The typical stay is 90 to 120 days. So when Guest House was first founded at the Scripps Mansion, people would stay in the mansion. We are working on doing some updates, making sure, it's all up to par and still keeping that historic nature to it. most folks no longer stay within the mansion. We do use it for special events, for meetings, so it's constantly in use, but it's not serving as our treatment center anymore. We do have modern facilities on site, and so we have men and women treatment centers both right there on campus, and so our residents will come in. Everything is kind of done in-house. We do partner with lots of local facilities, both for mental health, for physical health. We have, when somebody comes in, we treat the whole person. It's a holistic treatment center. And so if we don't have somebody on staff, we partner with so many community partners in the area to make sure that everyone is receiving the support that they need. I know we have a big sign out front saying, rezoning, and there was always some concern if we're talking about some of, the new construction stuff. It's an expansion, hopefully, for us to be able to continue to provide services, provide some new wellness and health spaces, some new offices. So nothing is happening to guest house, even though we have that big sign out front right now. It's just to continue to improve our services on site.
Yeah. When I first came out to this community, and I don't know if you've had a similar experience, but because the property was off limits to most residents and they didn't fully understand what was happening on the property, there were these rumors going around. As a student, someone growing up in the community, did you know what was happening at the Scripps estate, or did you ever hear any of the rumors going around?
No, besides just the mansion being haunted. That was the only thing I heard.
I remember when I first came out, people would say, "Oh, don't go over near the grounds. There are angry monks that will chase you off the property." And I'm like, angry monks? That doesn't sound right. And it turns out that's not the case at all. But I think it was just kind of a misunderstanding and not knowing what's happening on the grounds. And apparently, you guys are doing great things over there.
Thank you. I mean, I like to think so. I don't get to necessarily play a role in that. I get to go spread the message more than anything else. We'll see if my mom's watching, but she would get mad at me because when I worked there, 20 years ago now, people would come and, is it haunted? I'm like, no, it's not. I've been there at all. She's like, stop ruining it for everyone. It's not. You can believe it if you want, though.
I'll cross off this next question. Have you seen ghosts at the Scripps?
I have not. But we're just very lucky to have such a serene space to be able to be privileged to be caretakers of something that is historic, but then also to have something really special, this international type organization. We serve people from around the globe here in Orion.
Yeah. And I've been in the mansion a few times. Guest House hosted an event with the Chamber of Commerce. They had like this mask-themed event that was really cool. And that was tied in to the fact that the mansion was a filming location. Do you know anything about that? When there was a movie that came and filmed at the Scripps Mansion, and I remember one of the actors was John Rhys Davies, who played Sala in the Indiana Jones movies. But that was kind of a big deal.
Yeah, so I didn't work here. That was the in-between times.
Yeah.
But I've seen the photos from the filming. When I did work there before, I remember we were prepping because Cloris Leachman was supposed to come stay and do some scouting. And I don't think that ever panned out, but that was always exciting.
Yeah.
Again, the biggest thing for us is sharing the message and making sure we're good stewards of the property, making sure that it fits with whatever else is going on, but then also respecting our clients' privacy as well. So we don't do it very often, but we always, whenever we can, love to share what we're doing, open it up and share what we have, because we know it's a resource that is limited and that's very special.
Yeah, and there's so much history there too. One of my favorite stories is that when Scripps lived there and owned all the surrounding land, he was an aviation buff in addition to being into journalism and broadcasting and all that stuff. And one of his guests that he invited to come out and have dinner at the mansion was Amelia Earhart. And he owned an experimental glider at the time and asked if she wanted to go up in the experimental glider. And there are photos of Amelia Earhart on the grounds of the property. It's really amazing history.
It's really cool. I didn't know that until now.
Yeah, so across the street from what is the front of the mansion, so kind of where Orion Township has its new buildings, and then if you drive down Scripps, you have I'm going to say it wrong, so I'm going to anger people. The model airplanes.
Oh yeah, the RC
Yes,
radio
thank you.
controlled flying.
Yeah,
group,
so it
yeah.
kind of continues that legacy because there really, was full-scale planes, and so continuing with that still right across the street.
Yeah, and our film festival that we do in October, we call it the Wildwood Film Festival, and the township has the Wildwood Amphitheater. Well, Wildwood was the name of all the farmlands that Scripps was buying up over a relatively short period of time. So he bought all of that property in this area, and we're probably sitting on property that he owned at one time. And then when he passed away and the property was sold, a good chunk of that became Canterbury Village. And like you said earlier, a lot of the structures that are sitting on the grounds of Canterbury Village were the houses and workers. They lived in these homes. And it's so awesome that that was all saved and maintained. They could have easily had demolished all that.
Honestly, we're very, very lucky. Wildwood Farms was all encompassing. You had cattle, you had pigs, you had horses, you had all sorts of animals around. And we call it the Scripps Mansion, but it was actually, to them, they called it Moulton Manor.
Oh, I've never heard that.
Do you know why they're calling it that?
You're going to test my memory. At one point, maybe I knew, but I do not remember today. So, we call, again, it's the Scripps Mansion. We have Scripps Road, Scripps Middle School. We continue that legacy, but when they were here, they called it something just a little bit different. But
Interesting.
I do hear people always say, well, Wildwood, or not think about where it came from. Well, it's because you're at Wildwood Farms.
Exactly. Yeah. So the 5K is August 2nd, and is the run starts at 8:30 or?
The run starts at 8:30. So registration day of will open at 7. You can register at any point in time, though, from now until then. If you do want to get your T-shirt, I recommend you register early because day of, I can't promise that we'll have everything that you want. So please register early. Until this Friday, we have registrations only $30. It goes up to $35 after that, and day of it's $40. Everything's going to support a good cause. You get a free T-shirt along the way, and you get to see a little bit of behind the scenes of Wildwood Farms at that point.
Yeah. So how does someone go about registering?
Guesthouse.org. That is where you can find all of the information linked to it, and then if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Anything on there will direct you back to me anyway. So I'm a real person on the other end of that.
That's awesome. Any final questions?
How many people usually register for this event?
We think that this is probably going to be our biggest one yet. So we're hoping to be around 100. We started in 2015 and then had to take some hiatus here and there for COVID. And so we are back and hoping to have the largest event thus far. But we can accommodate as many people as want to register, so don't let that stop you.
Yeah. Now, last year the start-finish line was at that archway at the Scripps Mansion. Is that going to be the same thing this year?
It's going to be the same start-finish, but a new path.
Okay. And it's, I'm a photographer at heart, so that image of, 3, 2, 1, go, and you see all the runners coming from underneath that arch past the Scripps Mansion. It's really something to see.
It's pretty spectacular, and to cross the finish line in that same spot, you're talking about a real photo finish. Like, that is spectacular.
It is. All right. Well, thanks for coming out here and sharing that
Thank you for having
information with
me.
us. And I'll be there that morning shooting videos, so I'm looking forward to it.
I will see you then. I hope to see everyone else then, too.
Awesome. All right. Thanks. We are now going to throw it to the concert that kicked off the LO Live concert series in the Village just a couple of weeks ago. Patty Pershela performed. Unfortunately, they couldn't do it outdoors because it rained. Normally they would do it in the gazebo in Children's Park, but luckily they have a backup plan where if the weather isn't good, they move it over to 20 Front Street in the Village. So let's take a look at this clip from Patty Pershela's performance at 20 Front Street.
Come say hi. Thank you for listening. This one's called Walking on My Hands.
It's Patty Pershela blowing the roof off of 20 Front Street. It's such a beautiful venue, and we're so lucky that we have that as a backup plan in case the weather doesn't cooperate in the village. So LO Live is a free concert series that normally takes place in the park there every Wednesday night. I think it kicks off about 7 o'clock or so. And I don't think there's a concert the weekend of Dragon on the Lake, but if you want to take the family out, oh, there's the schedule right there. If you want to take the family out, a nice night in the park, and you know, the cookies and cream, ice cream is within walking distance, and it's just a great night out for the family. And then on Thursdays, of course, there's free concerts at Wildwood, and there's the schedule right there on Thursday nights. So lots to see and do. And speaking of concerts, this is a great segue to this. We have an awesome 3-day concert music festival over at Camp Agawam, and we are joined now with John Carson and Preston Osterman from Friends of Camp Agawam, a gem of a park here in Lake Orion that the township bought a number of years ago. Of course, you could tell us all about that, but let's start off by talking about the Tommystock. You're in your 11th year this year.
Yeah.
What can people expect this year?
Well, it's you know, a lot more of the same. We've got you know, the tiki bar all day long, which is free admission down by the beach. Live acoustic music, frozen drinks, a lot of fun. And then once the evening rolls around at 7 p.m., we are going to be headed to what's going to be the new and improved and expanded Fire Bowl this year. With some great live music. We're going to have a tribute kind of to the 90s on Friday and more of an 80s theme on Saturday with the
That's
rock
awesome.
sensation Rockstar, which will...
Rockstar, yeah, I've heard of
so
them,
it'll be
yeah.
great.
Now, you sent me some photos just the other day. There's some improvement. There's some work going on over at the Fire Bowl. What's happening over there?
We're getting a brand new stage. We've been working with the old Boy Scout dock for a long time. It was the fishing docks, and so we're building a stone stage, additional seating. We've got like a third, 33% more seating going in, which is all going to be stone work done by our neighbors at Rockworks right down the street, who's done all the beautiful rock work out there. We've got the stairs and that mezzanine, and it's looking really, really special out there.
That's
it's really
exciting.
exciting.
So Camp Agawam used to be a Boy Scout camp for a long time, right? And then the property was going to go up for sale, and the township stepped in and got it. And what a blessing!
Yeah, what a great investment.
So glad they didn't develop that into residential or commercial or whatever. Talk about the history of Camp Agawam.
Well, so yeah, it's over 100 years old. For over 100 years, it was a Boy Scout camp. Like you said, the township bought it, and one of the reasons that we formed our nonprofit was to just kind of help assure that it wouldn't be developed, that we could find uses for it that were more recreational and entertainment, and people could enjoy that piece of property for another 100 years to come, rather than another subdivision. There's no piece of property in Southeast Michigan, in my opinion, that is as beautiful as Camp Agawam.
Yeah, and the township, the Parks and Rec, they hold events over there. Talk about the Kaboom Playground. That was a pretty awesome story.
and how cool, you get the Ralph Wilson Foundation pays for that, and they have the kids from Orion Township got to draw what they want the park to look like, and then Kaboom actually puts together a plan with the equipment that the kids draw, and you end up building it's all built by the community. The Ralph C. Wilson Foundation donated that equipment.
And it was like in one day, right? They built it
It was
in one day.
a weekend.
Okay, because I remember we put a kind of a time-lapse camera up on a cherry picker and hit record, and the one thing I remember is that a storm blew in. You remember this?
Yes.
And we got all of that on video. A nasty storm came in the day they were building the Kaboom Playground, but it's just spectacular. And every time I'm there for an event or to shoot video or something, there's always kids over there playing on the equipment.
The beach used to be a hidden gem.
Yeah.
But they've expanded that. We were just out there checking the progress of the new stage and the Fire Bowl yesterday, and the beach was packed.
Yeah.
So it's good to see that people are finding the hidden gem and taking advantage of it.
So on Friday and Saturday, you have the concert performances and, like you said, the tiki bar. Now, Sunday is a little different. There's not necessarily any live performances on Sunday, right?
Well, we do have, we do karaoke for a cure, because the Sunday is all about raising money and awareness for breast cancer. I've been an ambassador for the Real Men of Orion, Real Men Wear Pink, for several years, and we do have Cindy Lish and Kishlicious is the name of the band. They've been coming out for the last few years, so we've kind of made it a tradition. And they come out and perform. We do the pink float out, as you know, you've been out there with the drone to get the good shot. And so I think it's just a great way to cap off the weekend by raising money for people who really could use the help. A portion of the drink sales is donated back from the Friends of Camp Agawam to the Real Men of Orion. And there's merchandise normally through Dave Klonke. He's been an ambassador in their Right Hook brand, so they make some merch, and we sell merch, and people make donations. Sometimes we do fun things where I'll make a donation. I'll say, hey, I'm going to donate $100 to get Joe Johnson to sing a karaoke song, and he can either go sing it or match the $100 donation to not sing it.
Now, you know what I find so interesting is you easily could have done the music festival on Friday and Saturday and then use Sunday to rest up, but you've donated that time, that space for a good cause. That's something to be applauded.
Yeah,
Why do you think it's important to do that?
Well, because we have the ability more than anything. It's already set up. The tiki bar's there, the infrastructure, the tent, and so why not, instead of breaking it down early, why not try to take advantage of the resources we have to do more good.
Yeah.
Right? Squeeze as much juice out of that as you can.
Now, the Tommystock acts as a fundraiser. Talk about how that money goes back into Camp Agawam. What types of things have been done? What types of things do you still hope to get done?
So, like I said, we started with the new steps. They were dangerous. The old guardrail steps. Building a mezzanine. This year is the stage and more seating. We've got electrical upgrades that need to be done. We'd like a permanent concession stand. For years we've been using the wood what do they call it? The wood hut where they stored the firewood and stuff. And that's no longer with us. And
did it end up in the fireball?
We'll be burning it this year as part of the fire.
But there will be food at the event, right? You have food trucks.
Yeah, we're going to have the Jamaican food truck back. That's been really popular. Local family, the Zitos, who live on Tommy's Lake, their son's getting into the culinary thing. They're going to do some barbecue out there. And then Hungry Citizen, who's always out at Wildwood every weekend, is going to be serving up some really good food out there, too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, you got me wondering, I was talking about this with someone the other day. Are there people who live on the lake who are like, keep it down over there? Or are they embracing what's happening there?
Believe it or not, there's only been one person, I guess, over the years, and they've come to embrace it. You know, they know that it's one weekend out of the year, and while it might seem a little loud or keep them up a little later, it's for a good cause.
Yeah, and why complain? Come on over and join the party. Have some fun. I'm there every year shooting video, and you got Friday night and Saturday night, and it's really something to see when you have a great turnout in the bleachers there. The amphitheater is filled, and the fire is blazing, and the band is performing. It's really something.
Right, and there's I go back to there's really not any venues that are quite like it. There's every municipality's got a gazebo or a band shell. We have both, right? And now we have this beautiful. We've had national touring acts in there who compare it to Red Rocks, which is, as far as most people are concerned, the most beautiful venue in the world. And here we've got something in Lake Orion that's like the mini version of that.
Yeah. Have you been at Camp Agawam? Are you aware that all this is going on over there?
I have been there, but it was like a while ago, like before the expansion. Like I didn't even know about the playground, or I didn't even know about this event. So it's been
That's
a while.
why we're here.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now, that the amphitheater there is so beautiful. Are there things that go on there throughout the year? Or?
Not just yet. I mean, that's the goal.
Yeah.
But there's just a lot of logistical things that need to be done. We have to do a lot of work to make that usable for the weekend, and to do that type of work for, like, say, a 3-hour show on a Friday just isn't feasible. You know, we need some permanent bathrooms. Like I said, upgrades to the power, better lighting to and from, you know, down the pathways and stuff. So once we have permanent things that are permanent, we can start doing a lot more.
It would be fun. I don't know if we've ever discussed this before, but you know, the high school has their theater troupe over there, and they do great work. Imagine doing like Shakespeare or something,
That'd be
performing
really cool.
Shakespeare at the amphitheater. That'd be something.
Yeah,
to see down
stand-up
the road.
comedy, weddings.
Oh yeah.
Our supervisor had his daughter's wedding there, which was beautiful. So
Yeah, that's awesome. And another fascinating aspect whenever I go over there to shoot video is you see people camping. You see people setting up tents or trailers. Talk about that aspect.
yeah, I
of
mean,
it.
it's a campground. You know, the Boy Scouts use it for camping, and again, it's when you're out there at nighttime and people are camping, and you got the fairy lights and the Christmas lights, you feel like you're a million miles from home. I mean, and it's right here in Lake Orion. Like, if you had to, you could still run off to Meyer and grab yourself something, and it doesn't feel that way when you're out there.
Yeah. We need a fire starter. Run over to Meyer and get one. So yeah, like I said, what an incredible resource, what an amazing gym. If someone wants to attend, where can they get tickets? How do they get involved?
Tommystock.org is www.tommystock.org. Tickets are available. You can purchase tent camping spaces right from the website, and all the information there, the lineup for the bands, lineup for the tiki bar music, all be found there at tommystock.org.
That's awesome. Am I forgetting anything? Can you think of anything else?
Are you guys like planning to do anything like new in the upcoming future with this event, like, or thinking of adding anything else to it?
Well, I'll let Preston talk about this, but for
Yeah, you've been kind of quiet over here. You
several years, Preston has spearheaded our what we call Electric Agawam, which has always been part of Tommystock. This year he's got it with a new baby on the way, baby number 2 for Preston.
Might come during Tommystock weekend. We'll see. But yeah, so I'm a third generation growing up and coming to Tommy's Lake. My grandparents lived there, so when I was growing up, it was always a Boy Scout camp. I actually never went there my whole life until the township bought it, and at that point I remember going to the grounds. I was like, this is a perfect festival grounds. I was like, I'm not going to do it, but maybe you should. So I've been around since the inception of Tommystock, and the very first events, we kind of had a mix of rock bands and then dance music, DJing music. Because I'm younger, I brought that aspect to it.
And that's in the lodge there, right?
Yes, the Alberici Lodge.
Yeah, Alberici,
yep.
yeah.
So we started doing it in the Alberici after my first son was born. I came back and we did an indoor where you had a bar, DJ, and then outdoor we had silent disco with 2 DJs. So it's always been kind of an event within the event. My hope and some things looking forward is to use the Fire Bowl for some open air dance events or anything really. Once the infrastructure is there, it'll be more appealing to use it. But I think there's an opportunity to maybe do something a little more focused on the Electric Agawam aspect of it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good local DJs in Detroit, really international folks that would come out here, and a lot of them have played, and it's just like some of the bands are like, this place is amazing. They want to come back. Quite a few of them are bummed I won't be doing the stage this year, but we'll be back better than ever. But yeah, there's a real pocket for some open air events on that format, some DJs, different kinds of music. Really, like Red Rocks has everything from rock bands to DJs that play on it there. So really it's kind of like a mini version of that. That's what the long-term goal is. And all the funds from each of the Tommystocks, they go right back into it. You know, we started this 11 years ago. It was from the ground up. We've learned a lot of lessons, simplified some things. We're at a point now where we're really able to start seeing some of this stuff manifest. So it's very exciting and starting to open up the next chapter. So I'm obviously near and dear to the ground, just growing up there. My wife and I got married at Camp Agawam. We were the second wedding that ever happened there.
After Chris Barnett's family?
Yeah, well, it was actually before that. There was one other couple that got married before my wife Aubrey and I did, but we got married in the outdoor chapel. And so we've just really been using the grounds and the lake itself too. Anyone who goes or lives on Tommy's Lake, it's full sports. It's an all sports lake. If that side of the lake was developed, that would not be viable. So you lose out on water skiing. There's a water ski course. So our mission and our goal with this event is obviously to keep the grounds how they are and improve them year over year. But also our group, Friends of Camp Agawam, we're in the community. We all live here, so we're also focused on other green spaces. But this is really our flagship. This is what we've been doing, and we're actually starting to see some progress now. There's also an 18-hole disc golf course on Camp Agawam. So if you're at the festival, you could go and take a break, play around a disc golf, and then cool off at the lake. I mean, it has it all. So it's something we've got to just keep it going and keep the interest there and keep people coming there. Weddings, my son's first 2 birthday parties were there, and even had a dog birthday party at Camp Agawam. So yeah, it's a privilege to be able to serve the community, especially with this particular event and everything at the camp.
I know one event I look forward to every year is the township does the Fall Festival of Family Fun on the grounds of Camp Agawam, and they have hay wagon rides and a little makeshift pumpkin patch and fun events. So yeah, there's always something going on there. It's
Imagine once we have an infrastructure there, being able to maybe kick that up into a more of a haunted forest.
Oh yeah,
that would be a lot of fun. That would bring in more people too.
Yeah. And that's a fun thing, I've been covering Tommystock for a number of years, and it's not the same thing twice. Every year there's something new to see, there's something going on, so it's really
Yeah,
great.
and it's funny because, it's our 11th year, 8th officially as a 501c3, and when we first got started, it was a struggle. None of us had started a 501c3 before. We didn't have any money to start with, and we'd get done and be like, man, maybe we should just write checks instead of trying to put on this big event. But here we are these years later, and we're doing 6-figure projects out there that are just, it makes the hair on my arm stand up when I go and just see the progress, thinking where we were 11 years ago and where we are now is just, it's something to really be proud of.
That's awesome.
And we couldn't have done it without the support of the community.
Definitely.
Coming and supporting us, our sponsors, so. Yeah.
All right. So Tommystock.org for more information, and we hope to see you there. It's going to be fun. I know I'll be there at least one of the nights, if not a couple of the nights, and of course on Sunday for the charity fundraiser. So great job,
Always look
man.
forward to seeing you out there, Joe.
All right. Yeah. All right. Another organization that does great things here in the community is the VFW. Here's a promo that we put together, letting you know what the VFW is all about.
Good day. I'm Chuck Haskin from VFW Post 334 here in Oxford, Michigan at Lake Point Community Church. Our official name is North Oakland VFW Post 334 because we serve all the veterans in the North Oakland area. We are always looking for new members because we do a lot of things out there in the community. Give you an example, we got Veterans Day coming up here shortly. And with that, we're going out to an elementary school, we're going out to a junior high or mid school, and we're going out to a high school and sharing with them our experiences being as veterans in the areas that we're from. And in particular, I am from the Vietnam War. I served over there. And so when I go talk to the kids, I let them know exactly what they're studying in school, how it applies, and what we do. So with that, we also, I got my Honor Guard uniform on. I got a funeral this afternoon at Great Lakes National Cemetery. And we perform the third Tuesday every month, doing funerals all day long. Plus we do as on demand. When we get calls that they can't get an Honor Guard, we'll go and out and fill. I have Honor Guard duties this week at Wednesday and Thursday mornings up at Great Lakes doing funerals. I think for the month of October so far, we have accomplished about 14 funerals, and what our post does is we work with the different VSO, which is Veteran Service Off, and they turn around and come in for, have Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, or North Space Force also, and Coast Guard. and their members will go out there and present the flag to the family. We'll turn around and play the taps, and we'll do the rifle salute. But with that, you probably see us out on the streets of Lake Orion, Oxford, at local stores in the month of May, where we go out and solicit donations from the community, what we call our Buddy Poppy Days. And the Buddy Poppy is a poppy that's been around for a very long time, since World War I, and we're very proud of supporting that program. 100% of the money raised during the Buddy Poppy's donation drive is used for donations to our community and our veterans in the area. Examples of programs we support in our community, the Fish Organization down in Oxford. We sponsor 2 tables there. We just recently donated money to the local food bank over in Lake Point Community Church. And they're going to be providing Thanksgiving dinners for those on Meals on Wheels. And we really helped that program reach about somewhere 30 or 50 people each year. Very important. We also, on Thanksgiving Day, go out and support with about 50 veterans in the area that are in hardship, and we make sure they got a Thanksgiving turkey for that. Plus, we take another 50 turkeys and we take them out to the National Home for Children in Eaton Rapids, Michigan. If you never have heard about that, VFW has been supporting that home for going on 100 years. And it's for families of veterans or the spouses of veterans. They were in financial troubles, and they can go out there and send them to school and keep their family going. And so go out and you can Google the VFW National Home, and you get all kind of good information. Again, with that, we are looking for new members, and if you need to get a hold of me, my phone number is 248-420-8265. Again, Chuck Haskin at 248-420-8265. I thank you, and you have a great day.
So the VFW, the Friends of Camp Agawam, Guest House, they're all doing great things here in the community, and it's just, this is such an awesome community, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. So we're just about out of time. We are going to leave you with an upcoming look of things that are happening in the community over the next week or so, and we're going to wrap things up, and we'll see you again in a couple of weeks.
The Orion Parks and Recs will be hosting a summertime bingo on Wednesday. The bingo fun will take place at Friendship Park in the parking lot beginning at 1 o'clock. All ages are welcome. The LO Live Summer Concert Series continues this Wednesday. Bring the whole family for an evening of music and fun at the gazebo in downtown Lake Orion. This week's concert will feature the music of the Rebels Eves. The concert begins at 6:30. On Thursday evening, the Wildwood Amphitheater will be having a free concert beginning at 7 o'clock. Bring your lawn chairs, blankets, family, and friends for evening of music on the hill. Thursday night's concert will feature the music of the Wayback Machine. On Saturday, the Orion Library will be hosting a family Color Me Happy run in the Reading Garden at 11 o'clock. Enjoy a marked route around the library that will offer many chances to get blasted with color. Make some memories in the most colorful possible way. The Oakland County Fair is in full swing. The fair runs now through July 20th at Springfield Oaks County Park in Davisburg. For a complete schedule of events, visit oakpark.org. Register today for the Run Over Addiction 5K Run Walk on August 2nd. The race will take place on the campus of Guest House in Lake Orion. For more information and registration, visit guesthouse.org. Well, it looks like we have some rain headed our way. Wednesday's forecast is calling for evening showers with a high of 85 and low 71. Scattered storms on Thursday with a high of 79 and low 59. Partly cloudy skies on Friday with a high of 76 and low 59. And partly cloudy again on Saturday with a high of 80 and low 64. And morning showers on Sunday with a high of 81 and low 63. Well, that's it for this week's ON TV Quick Hit. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.